Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Boys Gone Wild. I'm here with my co-host Andrew Kerwin.
Andrew, say my name right. You
Andrew Kerwin? I said it.
I said Andrew Kerwin.
Andrew Kerwin.
Say it again.
Andrew Kerwin. What?
Oh, you got it wrong again.
Andrew.
No. That's
Drew,
the only. Hold on. Stop. That's the only time you have to do the name wrong.
Drew. Andrew.
No, you got it wrong.
Andrew. Drew. And
No.
Kerwan. Wanker.
Yeah. So if you get my name wrong, that works.
Do you have any other?
Because it'll be Wunker, which is still amusing.
Did you have any other? Did that used to irk you ever at school?
Never. I found it. I was actually pretty happy about it.
Were you a big fan?
Well, it wasn't. I wouldn't classify it as bullying.
Some people would. There's a lot of little bitches out there.
Yeah. Well, no, it was just because Paul.
So this is something that kids would jeer at Andrew after they'd stolen all his clothes and then pushed him out into the courtyard and started pelting him with eggs, shouting it.
It was
But
genuinely when we were 18 years old.
Was it really?
Yeah, it was 18.
I thought it was something that had come before I arrived.
Because Paul, I used to spend I had every lesson with Paul. So he'd obviously be scraping the barrel with comedy content. Often just ended with him just repeating my name in various ways. And then he just kind of went, Kerwan, and just went, Wanker.
So it was firing off the board.
And he found some gold. He did find some gold in that. If you slightly change my name and flip it, then it is Wanker.
I used to draw a dick on the back of Paul's ears because Paul had still has ginormous. Paul has these ginormous ears, like literally they could generate power for a whole city. They start.
Well, in fairness, it's only one of them.
That's
it really?
What
kind of makes it funny. So one is kind of normal, the other sticks out aggressively.
Yeah. So with a kind of one of those slightly inkier pens, if you just kind of lean forward in one quick motion, you can get like a full drawn dick in like half a second. Because you just go. So
I don't think you can get.
Yeah, maybe a second, but you can do it quick enough that he can't react in time.
Yeah, and it's there for the rest
because you've got like a flat surface to draw on, so then he's got an actual dick on his ear.
Yes, they're fun to flick.
Paul
fun to mock.
Is also the guy who during GCSE maths, before GCSE maths, he was sitting 3 rows behind me, and he goes, "Psst, gold." And I turn around and he goes, "What am I?" "I'm a cat's bumhole."
It's good stuff.
For those who are listening, he's pursed his lips and then he started waving his arm above his head, so almost like a tail.
No, the lips is the bumhole, the hand, the arm is the tail.
And then he said, "What am I now?" And then he added it afterwards, and he always has to ruin it. Whenever it's a good thing, he goes, "What am I? I'm an elephant's bumhole," and it's him going like this.
No, it's just slightly bigger.
But then the problem is that the elephant's tail is actually kind of like it's very short
and stout. You'd have to de-erect the tail.
And the arsehole is not a gaping hole.
Well, how much do you know about elephants' arseholes?
I know, I've seen an elephant's arsehole.
Why?
What do you mean, why?
That's a fair question.
No, it's not.
I'd like to know why.
No.
On the internet or in real life?
I've seen it in real life. I've seen elephants.
Why are you around the back of them?
I'm not looking around the back of them.
Well,
if you're looking at
how many
elephants
were there?
At one point, I've seen.
Okay, here we go.
12 elephants.
Whoa.
So that means you're going to see an arsehole. One of them's going to be faces away from you.
I've seen elephants.
Go on.
Don't have any comments on their arseholes.
But it's not a gaping hole.
Right.
I don't think.
Unfortunately, I'm going to have to take your word for it.
No, but I just don't think. I think you could use logic. And there's no one in the animal kingdom has just like a manhole cover.
In fairness to our friend Paul here,
yeah,
I'm pretty sure the difference between a cat and an elephant's arsehole is probably going to be that mouth and that mouth. It's all proportionate. Of course, it's if you're implying here, and it sounds like you are, the cats and elephants are the same size arsehole, then we're going to have some problems.
I'm not implying that.
So Paul, all he did was this.
I'm saying
all he did was this to this. That's fair.
No. Because he's creating the opening.
Yeah, I know, but that's just going to be bigger.
It's not
that to that.
Look, I don't want to get bogged down in smart early doors. Well, but I'm going to give you a brief biology lesson. You can't have. It's got to be a sealed hole. Like a kind of like it's got to be a tightly sealed hole.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, you're going to have dust in there.
Yeah, but there's it depends what we're defining as the arsehole here. And now we are getting into smart. It's not just the exact, because then there technically isn't an arsehole if it's always pursed. There's got to be like a ring area of an arsehole.
Yeah, but when Paul's pursing his lips for a cat's bumhole,
Right.
the implication is that the around the lips is the thing and the pursed is the arsehole. So if he's going like this,
or it's the whole lip.
if he's going like that, that's implying that the elephant has a gaping arsehole.
I think it's fair to imply that the elephant has a bigger, but then it wouldn't be accurate. I think the moral of this story is he shouldn't have done the second shot. He should have kept it where it was.
It's like Aesop's fables. Always got a moral of the story. the ancient tales.
No matter how ridiculous the story is.
Do you remember any of Aesop's fables?
No, I don't. And
Did he do the rabbit and the hare?
You need to stop knocking. Like, also, actually, I should have said before. You keep knocking the mic.
Do I?
It's very annoying.
Is it?
Yeah. Just watch yourself. You're becoming a bit like you keep knocking shit over. You're moving around a lot.
I've got a lot of stuff to because this is a one-man ship right now. I've got a lot of things. There's a lot of moving parts. Anyway, how are you?
I'm grand. I'm successful. I'm good.
You're successful?
I'm successful. I've finally done it. I finally become successful. After years and years of trying. No, I'm fine. There's nothing really to report. I'm getting older.
Aren't we all?
Well, I suppose so. No, I feel distinctly older in the last however long. I've got a shoulder injury. A shoulder and a back injury from someone hugging me.
Christ.
Yeah. Not Jesus. It was a different guy. But he
Christ? Muhammad?
No, none of the prophets. But no, he hugged me and I heard something crunch. I was like, oh, that's going to sting in the morning. It did. And it spread round to my chest now. So it's almost like this muscle is kind of, what's your word, making up for it. It's all gone a bit skew-whiff. But it's just that one motion just fucked me. And the guy gives aggressive hugs, sure. But like, you know, back in the day, I think my muscles...
You could have easily taken
could have
it.
Rebounded from it, maybe,
Yeah.
you know. Kind of you shift away from the punch. Maybe you give him an uppercut. But this really...
What, a tight hug? You sending
you
an
bang him
uppercut?
in the face.
You just get him, yeah.
Yeah, you got to hit him straight back.
Southpaw.
Exactly. What is southpaw? It's a boxing style. But
I
what?
assume... Do you know? Or are you testing me?
No, I don't.
Because when I think southpaw, immediately I kind of think uppercut. Because it's a paw coming from the south, which is down under.
So you just think it's an uppercut?
Yeah.
It's a boxing style, so it's not that.
Is it?
Yeah. I don't know, but it's...
Because it makes sense that it would be a paw from the south.
Oh, right, yeah. It would make sense.
And you can have a north paw.
Yeah, an east and a west paw as well.
Yeah.
All the paws.
No, not west.
No. What's wrong with west?
It's just, it doesn't work. Doesn't make any sense.
No.
It doesn't make any sense.
Have you ever considered boxing? A lot of people are taking it up as a form of exercise rather than as a form of competition.
I have considered. I remember I was talking about the Brazilian jiu-jitsu. That went
for
away
like a week.
That went away very quickly.
Yeah,
I wanted to just do something a bit mad for 3 weeks, and I thought that was a bit.
Absolutely.
I know I would have, but it would have been a bit mad. You know.
Yeah, well, you can just do other stuff that you won't hate. That's a bit mad.
What else is a bit mad?
I don't know.
But like,
I think you wanted a
mad.
traveling mad kind of thing.
Yeah, sort of. But I wanted something like, I don't know, but they all of the ideas I came up for a bit mad were like things that were actively shit.
Why? Because I think you had a bit of an unhealthy obsession with discipline at the time.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Was that in lockdown?
Yeah, I think, yeah.
So it was like, I think it was just to come out of it. I was like, I need.
Yeah. Because we were talking about going travelling, and you suggested that we go and spend 3 weeks in like a fucking monk's tavern, I don't know, and go and learn.
Yeah, to be honest, the thing that put me off Brazil, because annoyingly that's where the home of jiu-jitsu is, and if you're going to do it. So people say jiu-jitsu is the best one, and I'm like, it looks the most boring. Do you know what I mean? It's a lot of hugging, and do you know what I mean?
Trying to say it's a bit gay.
No, but I mean, kickboxing, karate.
Thank you for the correct pronunciation.
There's a lot more
action. Yeah. Well, you can still add sound effects to jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, but then you're kind of. But jiu-jitsu is a lot closer to the way that we would fight, which is kind of like
body to body, unskilled, untrained,
body to body. You're just sort of hugging, and like to the untrained eye, it doesn't look.
Hugs can be dangerous.
It can be, but I mean, it's more just you're just getting red faced and sort of like smushing your faces.
It's a lot of like.
Yeah. And I'm thinking more Crouchy Tiger, Hidden Dragon. I like the idea of kickboxing as well.
I think you want to dazzle people.
I want the dazzle.
You're not there to
it's not-
effectively
it's
win a
funny.
ground wrestle. You're there to impress someone at a party.
It's not funny if I can do jiu-jitsu. It's funny if I'm an excellent kickboxer. It's just it just comes out. It's the funniest move
But
to
how
whip out.
Can you whip out a kickboxing move?
Yeah, well, we're walking down with the boys, and then a bigger group of boys come and say, "Give us all your cash."
Right. Okay, but then you could.
Little
I
did
think
they
you
know.
could still do that with jiu-jitsu.
But it wouldn't look as cool, would it? Well, then I'm just sort of like, I'm just like humping them on the ground or whatever they do.
Yeah, I think It doesn't
But
sound like you've
then
got.
I've got such good strength in my leg. I slap them around the face with the bottom of my foot.
Right.
And I'm standing completely still.
Yeah. So
So
you haven't moved.
Apart from my leg.
Apart from your
just
leg.
bang. Just like I slapped
Just,
them. They can't believe
and then
it.
just carry on walking. You don't even break your stride. You don't even stop to pay attention to the robbers.
That would be a lot more. That would have a lot more wow factor.
No, I agree. It does.
Yeah, I think it was because we were going a bit crazy in lockdown, and I just wanted something to reset.
Your suggestion was to go out of lockdown after being locked up and go and lock ourselves up for 3 weeks and learn jiu-jitsu somewhere.
It would be a bit mad, though, wouldn't it?
It would be mad.
It would be a bit mad, wouldn't it?
It would be a bit mad. I'll give you that. I will give you that.
I think bit mad is one of my favourite because it's a
Another
type
thing,
of person.
it's kind of like a testosterone version of going on like a spiritual retreat or doing like an ayahuasca thing or like a silent retreat. That's the testosterone version.
But then ayahuasca is a bit wanky, and I think it's as much as it's like there's a certain pretentious thing to going away and learning martial arts. I think it's a lot less drenched in pretension than the ayahuasca.
Yeah, but then also like just every single American comedian seems to want
It's
to learn
true.
that. So that's a bit lame as
It
well.
is lame.
Now.
That's
Just
why.
because-
And then one of the big thing that puts me off Brazil.
Yeah.
And maybe this is
The big
a
thing
bit
that puts
racist.
me off jiu-jitsu is Joey Diaz is doing it.
Is he?
Yeah.
Is Joey Diaz doing it?
Yeah, or like kickboxing in one of them.
Yeah, they all love it. And it's just because there's such a macho culture over there for comedians. I just don't think it's the same here.
Of course it's not.
But I think if I want a master to teach me a martial art, humble me, break me down, build me back up again.
Yeah. Strip everything away.
I don't want him to be Brazilian. I want him to be Chinese or Japanese or Korean.
You heard it here first, folks.
And it feels bad because it feels like I'm relating a lot to stereotypes. But I'm not going to do it all the time.
Yeah.
I'm only doing it for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I want the full experience.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Brazilian. What?
Yeah.
It's just that's not how I
You
imagined
want
it.
the whole wax on, wax off.
I do. I want
Yeah.
I want a grandmaster. I want a sensei, and I want
You want them to do something incredible with chopsticks.
I want to say no. I wish I could sit here and say no,
But
I would be lying.
We have a duty of broadcast care.
But I would be lying
You
if
would
I
be
said
lying.
that to you. Just the more Asian-y, the better. East Asian,
Yeah.
So that's why I was kind
So
of.
that's why we didn't do it, because of Horatio's
Well, there was
racism.
Mai Tai in Thailand, which is a bit more because that's kind of like that's a bit that's a bit sweaty.
Isn't that a cocktail?
Mai Tai.
A Mai Tai?
So what is it? Muay Thai.
I haven't got a clue, mate. I
So
know
do you know what the-
Mai Tai's a cocktail.
But you know about the fighting.
No.
Muay Thai.
No.
M-U-A-
It might well be Mai Tai. They might.
M-U-A-Y and then Thai, the country.
Muay.
Muay Thai.
Muay Thai.
Muay Thai. Muay Thai.
Muay
Sounds
Thai.
like you're from Birmingham. You should Muay Thai.
Muay Thai is better than
Like
yours.
the Peaky Blinders. Yeah. So that
I
actually
did
triggered a
karate
memory. I don't
lessons.
remember. Did you have karate lessons?
Yes, when I was in year 3.
You any good?
No. Hated it, actually. Hated it. Because you think, yeah, sign me up for karate, mum. You'll be able to, like...
Karate.
Karate. Also, the correct pronunciation wasn't happening in my 10-year-old brain.
What was your sensei called? Do you remember?
Sensei Williams. No idea, but it'll be something like that. Sensei Smith. But they... because I think in a child's mind, and maybe in many adults' minds, you're going to think... You're going to go in there and start sparring immediately. There's none of that. You're essentially learning... It's like learning rudiments drumming, where it's just... different stick positions and different which hand you use, and that's
So you're not getting to the fun stuff.
You're not getting to the fun stuff until like a yellow belt.
Because I guess that's also part of.
I now took out to 10 in Japanese? Or it can't
Really?
be Japanese. Or is it Chinese?
So you know how to count to 10 in a language that you don't even know what the language is?
Absolutely, yeah.
That's mad. What is it?
Ishni Sanshi Gorap. This is where it gets sticky. Because I think I've anglicized it. Ishni Sanshi Gore. I know that's true. And then it's
Eggs,
like
beans, chips.
sausages, mash, gravy. Ishni Sanshi Gorap Shit Chat Kuju.
Yeah, why not?
Why not? Why not?
It's one of those things that, yeah, sure.
So
I have no idea if you're right or wrong, but you said it.
You go like one
Very
punch and then another punch and then you'd like kick. And that would be you do it in movements of 10.
Another ring?
No. Literally been wearing this for like a year now.
Well, all three?
Yeah. Literally a year. Honestly.
The bracelets?
No.
You've
Every
been doing that whole look for 3
Yeah. Look back on every single podcast of the last year.
Well, we got it on record.
Yeah.
So, at least we got it. Yeah, I think if I was starting a martial arts, I guess the whole point of those sort of the kind of wisdom is that you have to take a while to be humbled. And it's like, you know, in all those karate films, it's always like, he just wants to learn how to fight. And he's like, no, you're going to have to stand here and look at the sunset every day.
Because the bigger teenagers bullied him back in America for something.
Yeah, and then he's like, I just want to learn how to fight. How is this important? And at the end, he's like, because it was the weight in there it was about patience.
Fighting isn't about fighting.
It's not about fighting. I remember there was a story in one of those there's one of those motivational speakers on YouTube. This was maybe like 6 or 7 years ago, so before it became a real like cliche, super like what it is now. But it was this black American guy doing this speech about success and desire, and the story he told, the kind of parable he told, was about this old master who was like, "Do you want to be great? Do you want to learn?" I forgot what it was in. It could have been in. It might have even been in martial arts, but he was using this to apply to like sports. And he was like, "Meet me down by the beach." At 4 in the morning. Yeah. So he goes down, he meets on the beach. This guy wants to learn, and he says, "Come out with me to the waves if you want to succeed."
The waves,
or something like that. He goes out to the sea.
Yeah.
Come out further.
Yeah.
Keeps going out.
Right.
He's like, "Whoa, this is it's again."
Did the guy want to succeed? That was
He's like, "Keep coming out," and he's like, "Oh my god!" And then he said, "Keep going out," and then I think he starts dunking his head underwater.
Did he then take all his money?
And he just kept doing it, and the message of the story was, so it's like he just kept pushing him further and further.
Yeah.
If you want to succeed, this is the big.
Don't trust anyone.
If you want to succeed, you've got to want success more than you want oxygen.
Well, that's dumb.
It was really.
Show me one person that succeeded without oxygen.
It's really dumb.
Show me one person that succeeded without oxygen.
It's really dumb. Because he just said it was dramatic music underneath it.
I like to think there's a group of people under that guy who have worked so hard that they eventually just stop breathing.
It's just such a weird angle. It's like, that's not...
It's just it's one of these bullshit. That's motivational speakers condensed into one parable. It's just
you've got to want success
phrases
more
that
than
sound,
you want.
There's phrases that sound like they make sense, but they just don't make any sense whatsoever.
Get more than you want a comfortable bed to sleep in at night. Fine, or like something. But oxygen. It's like that's not the. That's just. That's not the point.
I can't really go without that. I'd love to be able to, so I could achieve all the success. Because it's almost like, don't waste your time breathing. You should be working. Stop inhaling oxygen and exhaling CO2. Start working.
But why that was so funny is because that's arguably like the only one that really doesn't. Is like the only one that's the one that works the least out of all of those. You've got to want success more than this.
Yeah, more
oxygen
than you want.
is probably
more than you want,
the worst option you could have done.
More than you want a comfy bed. More than you want a love life.
Even more than you want food.
Yeah.
More than you want water.
Yeah, because
those
maybe
are still
you might,
less.
if you're going to make it to the top, maybe you have to skip a meal.
Yeah. More than you want food. But oxygen, that's like 2 minutes max.
Yeah, maybe 3. Maybe 3. Give it 3 minutes and you're out. 3 minutes and then everything you've worked for, the entire empire you've been dreaming of building and starting to build crumbles before you because you can't live. You can't live.
Yeah.
But maybe that's why we're not successful.
Do you have any ambitions to do anything a bit mad?
Nah.
Or is that gone? Because I think I certainly we can go back and listen to the podcast, but it was certainly deep in lockdown where we were both considering doing something a bit mad.
Oh, I wouldn't. No, I'm not against it actually.
Doing something a bit mad.
Doing something a bit mad. You know me. AndrewMad.co. But it's like, it depends. Like, I don't think we'd have fun doing a 3-week jiu-jitsu course. We just wouldn't. Because
that's
we
not what
look
it's
at each
about.
other on day 4 and go, once we're going through our routines in the morning with a guy shouting at us, I just think we'd go, we've made a massive error here and we want to leave immediately. Because it's doing something mad shouldn't... I don't know. For me, I still want to... I'd want to do something mad that retains a bit of hedonism. I don't want to do something mad disciplined. That can happen later on in life.
Like Supersize Me? You know what he did for Supersize Me?
Well, he just got really fat.
Well, yeah, but he ate a supersized meal every meal for like 3 months.
That's not what I have in mind. That's not what my summer plans are.
This is a bit mad.
What are you going to do this summer? Get fat? No, it is a bit mad. It is a bit mad. It goes in the bit mad Hall of Fame, but like I don't.
Bit mad.
I'd want to like a bit mad. Still needs to retain like be a quad bike instructor in Australia. That's the first thing that would come to my mind. That could be a bit mad.
Because maybe this is once again falling off. Maybe this, and I'm being honest with you guys, and maybe this once again crosses over into potentially racist stereotypes or like some, cultural ignorance. But I recently had a fantasy, and this sums it up, that I was in... I
don't want to know where this is going.
I was collecting like rubbish in a river in like Nigeria. So I was just working with those guys, and we're just collecting rubbish. And at the end of the day, I could go and collect my very small pay, and then I buy a beer with that, and I drink with the guys.
Because you want beer more than you want success.
No, that's not the moral of the story.
Well, you're not buying food with it, are you?
Yeah, I guess so.
Are you working with other Nigerians? It's a bit white saviour.
That's what I mean. No. Yeah. I was being honest to you about I fancy had my own.
If we can't be racist in our dreams, where can we be racist? Was it a dream or was it a fantasy?
It was just daydreaming.
Hey, you're on your own then.
Okay. But it's more about
collecting rubbish. It also suggests that Nigeria's riddled with rubbish.
Oh no, if you think about it too much, it's deeply problematic.
Sure, but that's not what we're doing.
But it was more like I realised it from the idea of you read like Hemingway or even the old authors, and back in the day,
always fucking Hemingway with
but you read. But they
have you read Hemingway recently?
No, I haven't actually.
Hey, because you always go in such a different mood about life when you've read Hemingway. It's fucking ridiculous. And you can go back through the annals of our podcast and starting at first year of uni. Every time.
Trim fat off the soul.
Yeah, that fucking one. Every time you read Hemingway, you just suddenly you actually lose some of your comedic pool because you go really sincere.
I go really well. It's more the urge to it's more when you read the like American authors from that period, when it's like a lot of mad shit was happening and they all seem to have just lived so many different weird lives.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the problem is. It's such a weird fantasy because I can't even hold down a real job here. But the idea of like just live like for 2 weeks, just having a routine,
picking up rubbish for the price of one beer. Sure.
That was off the top of my head.
You will
guys.
Thrive. You will thrive. You will absolutely thrive.
Or just being a fisherman. Sadly, I wouldn't.
You don't have any like practical skills. You'd be useless. You wouldn't. You'd be.
Do you know what I mean?
You would be so unemployed in Nigeria.
Oh yeah. Okay, maybe not Nigeria, but do you know what I mean? Just like you go somewhere completely off the grid, and then you live.
Yeah.
Just like you do a routine that someone does every day for 60 years, for their whole life. This is the job they do.
For one day.
And you do it for like 2 weeks.
Yeah. No, I think...
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I do know what
I'm never going to do it. I'm no
Obviously,
interest.
you're not going to do it.
But I like thinking about it and going, wow, that's an amazing thought to have.
It would be it'd be a great podcast if we went off to Nigeria and picked rubbish for 2 hours and only drank beer. But
you know, you wait in the queue.
Yeah. Have you had a bad experience with like a self-checkout recently?
Well,
because it sounds like you need to be, you're kind of fantasizing about the stripped back life, the humble life, the practical job, the hands-on job with a simple pay for simple pleasure, rather than this mass of buildings and self-checkouts.
I don't even want to do that here. I don't even have any,
No, but what? Yeah, but there isn't the romance of it if you're doing it in Putney. It's not quite the same. No, but is it the simple life?
There's been no triggered. There's if you're asking, has there been like some
because self-checkout it could
has any late capitalist trauma? There's none of that. I don't know where it's come from.
Self-checkouts are triggering me lately, making me want to move to Nigeria. We'll get to that though.
Go on.
Well, it's just like I feel like what I believe's happened with self-checkouts is thus. I used to be against them because I liked the bit of the "Hey, how you doing" thing. Now I'm a religious self-checkouter. Like I'll always do it unless
as a religion.
As a religion, yes.
That's insane.
My God is self-checkouts, is the automated voice.
There's a midway point. You can make a compromise.
Yeah.
Well, you just like them.
No.
I either hate them or
worship them. No, I religiously use them.
Yeah.
But they seem now. I think this is what happens with technology. Because I was about to say it seems like they're getting worse, but that's not the case. When you get a new technology comes in, it's bright, shiny, and new. We reject it, then we accept it, think it's amazing, and then we get pissed off when it doesn't get better and when there's a few issues in it. So you think it's getting worse, but it's actually just stayed the same, and you're expecting too much from it. But constantly in a I'm feeling the anger at self-checkouts when an item doesn't scan properly. I'm having a lot of issues in my bagging area.
Is this coming into the getting older?
Yes. It could be the Andrew's getting old episode.
Okay. Horatio wants to go
Shoulders
a bit mad.
broken from a hug. I was doing a bar. I hosted a barbecue the other day and I was cooking and I wasn't talking to anyone and I looked across the group and saw everyone talking and had a good time and I looked down and I was like, I'm honestly happy you're here at the barbecue.
Yeah.
I'm honestly happy you're here.
But to be fair to you, you have been like that astonishingly young. I mean, you've been like that for the last 3-4 years.
What do you think?
You've always, I mean, maybe now,
the thing is,
now you've stopped giving a fuck about pretending it. But you've always wanted to take control of the barbecue and always been happy not getting involved at all as long as you're just focused on the barbecue.
Yeah. Barbecues. Yeah, absolutely. Always a barbecue.
Always.
Because it's like, when you enjoy a job, it's just fun.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just great.
No, it's good.
I think it's also because I'm a very social person in general, so it's nice to have a barbecue break.
It's nice for everyone else to try and...
It's nice to bring everyone here and just go and talk amongst yourselves.
And it's nice because we can actually find out about each other anymore.
Because I often dominate. And that's not too far off the truth. Shoulders broken. Barbecue I enjoyed. Just enjoyed cooking it. I had because sometimes because
I was there for an hour, so I missed most of it. Were you like that the whole time?
Well, the whole time it was cooking. I didn't pretend to cook afterwards. That would be. I didn't clean the barbecue when the guests were still there. Come out with a bucket of water, chuck it on. No, I then enjoyed it. No, but then I started, because then I found I kind of missed, how events, they slowly gear up, everyone gets socially lubricated and then there's a vibe established and it happens.
The lube comes out.
The lube comes out. Metaphorical lube, metaphorical. It's not one of those barbecues.
Call the guy, the lube guy.
The lube guy. But then I kind of found that because I was so enamored by the barbecue that I'd missed that initial lubrication. So then, because I was also on the music. This is where I want to be. Happy doing that. Doing a barbecue, playing music. So then I just started kind of dancing to my own music, really.
Yeah.
But then that's one thing. Happy, no FOMO whatsoever. I was like, I'm so glad I'm not over there. It looks like hell. Some of my best friends on this planet. And then finally, we then went out after the barbecue.
So you felt like you were delayed on the lubrication?
I was just like, I missed it. It's not my night tonight. But then finally, we also then went out that night and we went to a club and Adam didn't have his ID. And the amount of times I have gone with such ease, so it'll be like, that's fine, got this, just take mine, I'll go through first and I'll hand it back to you. It works every time. It's astonishing how bouncers don't actually look at the photo. The amount of times I've done it where they've looked at the ID and then I've passed it back discreetly and then they use the exact same ID and they just let them through. Never look. And then he was kind of searching me. He was kind of searching me and then I wanted to put my arm down and just put it back and he just went, pass your ID back, are you? We all got kicked out. Immediately.
Did Matt get kicked out as well, or was he just going home?
No, because Matt was with us.
Yeah. Okay.
So 4 of us didn't get in, which was fine. But that, I felt, that was a statement of my age as well.
What, that you're not as quick on it?
Maybe I haven't got a slickness anymore.
Do you think?
Yeah,
do you
maybe
think that's an age thing?
I was also very drunk. Apparently, because
I thought you weren't lubricated. Or were you talking emotionally?
Emotionally.
Oh, sorry.
Emotionally
I thought you were
and
talking
socially.
about being sober.
No.
So you were just
I was banging
incredibly
back the pink gin and teas.
So you were incredibly drunk,
Gin and
but
tea.
just like jarring socially.
Yeah, I was just like looking at people. Like, people would come up to me and talk to me. People kept trying to talk to me about Glastonbury as well. And I was like, I have nothing to say. I have absolutely nothing to say about it. Watch the podcast if you want, but I can't be bothered. And no, so I think I've lost a bit of that skill. However, I was reliably informed afterwards by the people we were with that I was shouting about the plan in the queue.
This is what you're definitely getting worse of. It's interesting to see what's going to be your people's old person traits, but you talk so loudly about other people when they could so clearly hear you. It's astonishing.
That is a case of my hearing not being great as well.
Yeah, probably is.
I have fucked my hearing a bit.
Partly, but often someone will walk past a stranger and then you'll make a loud joke about their outfit. And they're like in that thing where they could potentially hear. They're not out the clear. You don't wait. They're often so close. And that's not a hearing thing. That's just depth perception.
It's true. And I've had a couple of people say it to me early on and went, nah, they can't hear. And I've accepted it because of the quantity of people that have told me. Almost everyone I'm with have gone, Andrew, stop. And I'm like, oh, whatever. Because now it's not saying, oh, they can't hear. It's me going,
who gives a
I'm not
shit?
going to see him again.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's me getting old. But we were on somewhere. Before.
Well, we're talking about me getting a bit mad.
Well, but so it was the self-checkout experience that would make me... Is it getting... I think they work, and I think they're great. And maybe getting older is me not wanting to talk to people anymore. Maybe that's a theme. But I get so angry now when something doesn't scan or when something doesn't register something in the bagging area. It makes me want to fucking vomit.
Yeah.
And like throw things out of the window.
Yeah.
Do you have any of that?
You
you are a bad self-checkouter. I haven't been with you in a self-checkout. But you can't scan, and boy, I bet you can't stack.
Yeah, no, I'm not a good self-checkouter, and the technology confuses me.
Yeah.
I think one of my least favorite things is having to wait for someone else to do it, and if there's one staff member and there's a queue of people and you're standing there with the red light flashing and you're like, the only way they know is that there's a little red light. This small red light is the only, apart from me going,
you've got to flag him down.
Hey,
well don't do that. Don't clap and say hey. Hey,
garçon.
Well, you got to give him props to one thing, is you can now like buy alcohol so they can do the age check from the counter. That's revolutionary.
And sometimes, and it took me a while to realise they were doing that, because I'd do it and then it would check before it. You know,
and you'd be like, am I allowed to have this?
Sean Walsh does an incredible routine on the self-service checkout on Amazon Prime, the Catherine Ryan show, which is very good, I think. The whole show is actually pretty good. And he has a good point about why is it always 60 or 70% of them are out of service?
Yeah.
Why? It's like, are they going on holiday?
Yeah.
The whole reason we've got machines doing it is so they don't take breaks. You know.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Why is so many?
It must be
all the time.
Yeah. The thing is, because I've thought the same thought.
Always.
And the only thing, it must be some sort of like, if it's not now, because immediately
go on.
I know. I listen.
Take a punt.
Listen,
go on.
and I'm saying it's wrong before I've started, but I thought there must be some sort of like. There's not that, it's not a peak time in the shop, it's not that busy, so it's some sort of like flow to get people down to the real people, so there isn't like but then that doesn't make any sense either,
because you've seen it,
the more the merrier, and the less of a queue, and then the more you get out and in the shop, so there's nothing, there's no reason unless they're out of order, and they can't be all out of order.
They can't. Oh, maybe because you're being scanned all day.
That's
so
true.
maybe
often we don't take time to think about the work of the self-checkout machine.
Nightmare.
Well, they're not being scanned. They're scanning all day.
Yeah,
they're going beep, beep, putting like broccoli on them,
and you can tell when they need to have a break when they're starting going beep,
beep. Thank you for shopping at Tesco.
Thank you.
Remember to take your shopping.
Yeah.
Also, don't tell me to remember to take my shopping. It's ludicrous. It's a ludicrous thing to say to me. It's nonsense. You've gone through it.
Say have a nice day or something.
Remember
that.
Remember to take your shopping. I was like, why do you think I came here?
To
get shopping. Why do you think I came here? I'm actually just going through it, paying for it, and going, bye guys, see ya.
Now, what I don't understand, it is interesting technology, is when you put It is hot, isn't it? Yeah. So it's obviously a weight system so that it knows what you've put on.
It's a class system.
It's a class system.
It's a
is that how they measure what items are put on? It's because of how snobby.
Yeah, cocktail sausages are lower class.
And they're just like, no, those are cocktail because I can smell them from here.
Yeah,
disgusting.
That's that, and that's the weight that they have.
So how does it work?
Weight.
Okay, but how are all the items weighing the same?
They're not.
So how is it knowing? And also, how come when I put my hand on it, does it not go?
Because it's a scale.
Carrots.
What?
Oh no, because that makes sense. That would be
Have you
weird.
ever been to a self-checkout?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, this is what I imagine you doing.
Because I
Why don't you try that the next time you go there? Carrots. You fucking freak. No, because they would have weighed. Each item will have a barcode, right? And each item,
it's
scan, and they'll have pre-weighed it and say this is how much weight the machine expects, probably with a slight variance.
Must be, but then like fresh fruit and vegetable, there's the water weight. There must be a change in weight over a day or so.
Yeah, but there'll be like a deviance. There's like an error thing, a point of error. What's the fucking phrase? You know
I guess what I think you've. Yeah, I think the fact
if you point at me as saying I haven't taken into account
no,
water
you have. I think you might actually have smashed it. That they weigh every single thing individually before.
Obviously, they don't weigh the whole shop. Of course, they weigh each item individually. What are you banging on about? They don't group weigh like, oh, let's just get some eggs, get some bacon, sausages.
No,
okay, those collectively weigh that.
I mean, okay, these biscuits weigh this much.
You think they weigh each individual biscuit in a pack? What the heck is going
on?
So
Lebanese biscuits.
Why do we have to add Lebanese?
You know these ones.
Leibsen.
Which is madly hard to pronounce for such great biscuits.
Amazing.
And they would be a lot more popular if we knew how to pronounce it.
You're absolutely right, because people are racist.
We jokingly say lesbian biscuits, but that's not shorthand.
You're so right. They'd be so much more successful, but Britain is xenophobic. And they look foreign.
No, that's not what I was saying.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You're so right, Eurasia.
No, because it's hard to pronounce for such a... That should be like...
Yeah, but you don't need
that should be the canon of classic biscuits. But because no one can pronounce it, you can't put it in the canon. Leibsen, what is it?
No, but not enough people...
Leibsen, what is it?
Leibsen?
Also, not a great name for a biscuit.
Correct. Well, there might be a great name in Germany. You racist pig.
Leibsen.
Fuck knows.
Leibsen.
No, but because they're actually, I always respect people whose favourite biscuits are those, because they come out rarely. How often do you see them? Rarely.
They're sophisticated gentlemen. Only a sophisticated gentleman gets those out. Do you know what I mean? And I think I should pat them on. If you're doing some mad drug-fueled night, you know, your skin is dried out from the copious cocktail of drugs you've had. You've been kicked out from the bouncers. You've vomited, and then you pull out some Leibniz biscuits. You slide them. Would you like a one? Immediately, you're kind of shabby chic.
Right.
You've rebalanced the sophistication of the gentleman.
Yes.
But yes, the point I was making.
Yeah, we're back on the weight.
What I thought is that there's just what they say is the weight of each item has been said. I didn't know. Do they weigh every item before they put it on the shelves individually?
No.
These biscuits weigh this.
Yes. So there'll be Tesco, right? Would have gone and weighed every item
Individually, or so like all the Lebanese biscuits.
Lebanese, yeah, that's the best one we've had.
They're all going to weigh 300 grams, and that's what it is. They're not going to weigh each one of those individually for any.
What do you mean within the shop?
Yeah.
No, of course they're not.
But then with carrots, they're going to have to, because there's going to be.
They will have for a carrot, for instance.
Yeah.
There'll be a program in there that it will say it will accept it if it's between X and Y weight, probably. So
there's not going to be there should be more anomalies than that, because there's going to be huge variations.
Not in your fresh produce. No, yeah, but there's a different weighing system for the carrots. Yeah. For stuff like when you go to the bakery and stuff where there's going to be individual products that are going to have a higher variance in weight.
Yeah.
You like put them on the scanner and it weighs it there. There's a different thing for that.
Yeah.
And everything that's standard has a standard weight.
Yeah.
I think they have it covered.
So have you ever tried this? Because this is what I've tried just to try and work out. You beat, let's say, carrots.
No, because I don't go in for social experimentation when I'm shopping.
So I beat the carrots and then I put my fingers down.
It?
Beep.
Okay,
and then I put my hand and I just start pushing down just to see. Would that work?
Just to see how much a carrot weighs.
No. To see if I could trick it. Surely there's a pressure you could push.
Absolutely.
There must be.
Absolutely. But you still paid for the carrot.
No, I'm not trying to trick it. I'm trying to trick it to see if
of course you can.
It's man versus robot.
Yeah, of course you can, because all it is a weighing machine.
Is it though?
Yes, it doesn't
never
like
worked.
Scan. It doesn't like put infrared signs, lights up.
I don't know.
Carrot.
But then it could see the weight distribution or something like that.
Yeah,
could be
but fundamentally, why would it matter to them if you were tricking the machine? You've paid for the carrot. It's expecting the weight. That's all.
I'll tell you why.
Here we go.
You get a more expensive item which is weighed within that realm.
So how would that work? Talk me through it. Fucking Rain Man.
You find a premium item that weighs the amount of a cheaper item,
and then you apply the pressure on it up until
you don't need to do it with the hand. But I'm just saying something that's not the actual thing.
No,
with the same weight.
Yeah, but then you still have to smuggle that out.
Yeah.
So you might as well just not scan it.
Yeah. Yeah. Bookmark boys. Bookmark boys. The bookmarks that breathe.
It is shocking how the air ventilation within these bookmarks mean you can take them anywhere. They are streamlined. They're like a well-engineered sport equipment.
They're like Geox shoes, but for bookmarks.
You can they're waterproof.
They're breathable.
They can last long distances.
They breathe.
They breathe. You can poke little holes in them.
For what purpose?
Whatever you want.
They breathe.
They breathe.
Bookmark boys. The bookmarks that breathe.
Special code breathe bookmarks on the website live now.
Thank you.
Is that it?
Oh yeah, we can go for more if you want. But
what's
I feel they've got
what's the most creative thing you could do with these?
You could create a play in a doll's house.
Yeah, that's good.
So you have Joe Exotic kind of walking along.
You've got a lot of...
And that's when I knew things were going downhill.
Any dog.
You know?
I've actually got slightly better at accents.
You got better.
And impressions.
Yeah.
Annoyingly, I can't... But on the spot or under pressure, never. Always panic. I can do an amazing
something
impression.
that's really missing from our, comedic repertoire, because I there's a couple of podcasts I listen to and they can just like whip out accents and impressions, and it just it just brings it to life.
Yeah.
It creates a richness to the text that's just missing from us. We're just stuck in our own stupid bodies, constantly being us, always us.
He did Brian Cox fairly successfully.
Yeah.
But not amazingly.
Yeah.
There's one impression that I can do perfectly. The problem is no one's seen the show.
Is it Tom Davis?
Yeah. Sorry. There's a character. It's from The Curse, and it's Tom Davis playing a big bloke. His name's Mick. And Tom Davis speaks, and I promise you, I'll swear to you, exactly like this for the entire series. And he talks like that, and they're robbing. They get away with robbery, and they're trying their best to make sure they get away with it. Now, I pull that out all the time.
Yeah. But no one knows.
No one's fucking seen it. I'm yet to see one person. I've done it to a lot of people. To the extent where I've done it to people and then showed them it afterwards, and they've gone, "Yeah, that is very good." But if you haven't fucking seen it,
you can't do the impression.
Understand how good this impression is because you haven't seen the character.
It ceases to be impressive if you do the impression and then show them the impression you're doing. That takes away a lot of the...
Funnily enough, impressionists choose well-known people. But fundamentally, I will never be giving up this character because his voice is so bang on.
Let's get topical for... We haven't been topical for a long time.
Crikey.
We used to be a lot more topical, but we've been a literal opening our gaping arseholes and letting whatever comes out.
And often it's farts.
More often than we'd like to admit. But Blojo's on the ropes.
Has anyone done that?
Blojo?
Yeah.
Yes. I think a comedian called Josh Berry does it constantly.
He's one to talk.
If you've got something to say, then say it.
I was thinking, is there anything? Josh barely legal. No.
Yeah.
Please continue.
So the news is in. It's more because we've been so bored of politics. You know?
Yeah,
we used to care.
It's lame, man.
We used to care because it was like the first couple, and that was when I think we were also getting we're a lot more chill now that lockdown's over.
Yeah.
Things matter a lot less.
Yeah.
Socially. Because
And it's interesting to people because I
got more of a life now. I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly. But I don't know because I watch I guess Tim Dillon does a lot of political stuff, but he just does it in such a hilarious, insane way.
Yeah.
But I wonder if people actually want to come onto a podcast like this and listen to you talk about politics. I'm not you can do it.
They want takes.
Takes, yeah.
They just want
but
takes.
but the takes have to be nothing really about the issues, more just about the silliness.
Well, yeah, before we get into Boris Johnson, on the topic of takes, I saw Fran Lebowitz with my sister.
What was the show like?
So do you know Fran Lebowitz?
Yeah.
And Fran Lebowitz, for you guys who don't know, for years she's been a humorist. She's an old Jewish lesbian, and it feels wrong me saying just opening with it, but it's a vibe for sure.
Yeah.
She's an old Jewish lesbian. Once again, it sounds.
Are you gonna?
You're
stuck in a loop now.
She's an old Jewish lesbian.
You're gonna comment on saying it again.
Because when I said it sounded.
We're going for 4.
It sounded like it was like a throwaway. Like she's some old Jew. No, she happens to be an old Jewish lesbian.
It sounded fine the first time. You're overcorrecting.
Who's a brilliant humorist who used to write books but has been stuck in a famous amount of writer's block. So she hasn't really written anything for ages. She's one of those classic New Yorkers. She's almost symbolises New York as a thinker, as her sense of humour. Very Woody Allen-esque without the paedophilia. She's kind of if you like your Woody Allens without the paedophilia, it's like tuna without the dolphins.
Do you think the kind of incest or the paedophilia is worse?
What kind of?
Like his Woody Allen's whole thing. What's more gross, the age or the incest?
Wait, with the two separate things?
Yeah, well, so were they...
I see. Yes, I see what you're saying. It has to be aged, doesn't it?
How old was she?
She was 9, 8.
What, when they first started?
What are you talking about?
Wasn't it that he's married someone and then eventually...
Two separate things.
Was it?
The one that's the only illegal one, the one that he's denying, is that one of the daughters that... It wasn't his... Was it his daughter or his adopted daughter with Mia Farrow?
Stepdaughter.
It could be his stepdaughter. Definitely Mia Farrow's daughter. But he...
It was stepdaughter?
Yes. And I actually watched a documentary on it, and she's got 10 kids, and she's not exactly sane either. But what she says is on a one-off occasion, though he was very kind of weird with her, he sexually assaulted her at their family home when she was 7 or 8 years old.
Was that the stepdaughter?
Stepdaughter.
Right. That is the age that's worse then.
Considerably worse. I
thought she might have been a bit older. I thought they might have been together.
So what happened is she adopted someone, Sue, what's her name?
Who's she?
Woody Allen's wife.
Not Mia.
The Vietnamese. Sue Lee? What's her name? Sue Lee. Or something like that. Mia, who became sort of obsessed with adoption in quite a weird way.
Yeah.
She'd keep adopting people, and from war-torn countries, she'd adopt people. So she had 12 kids from all over the world.
Yeah.
And one of those kids was Sue Lee, or whatever, who Woody Allen met through Mia, even though I think they weren't together.
And are they together now?
That's been his wife for 34 years.
So 30, right, okay. The age one's definitely worse on that side. The first
definitely.
One. How old was
the interesting thing about Woody Allen is that I know some comedians who defend him. I've watched the documentary of him. I do think he did it. And it's funny because I've got a friend of mine who vehemently denies him because he's been passed by the courts. They said
denies him
being a paedophile with the first case.
Supports him.
And I'm like, yeah. Who does he go home to after a long day in court defending himself against raping one of his adopted children?
His adopted child.
His adopted child. Which is the funniest thing when you're debating with someone, because you can't deny that he walks around with his wife. There's no denial there. He's married to her.
So he is married to his adopted child.
To a different adopted child.
the case is closed.
You know, I mean, admittedly, none of the relationships started when she was illegal, and it's what he did wasn't illegal with this.
Yeah, but weird. But it's fucking creepy as shit.
You know, you're Woody Allen. There's a lot of choices, maybe.
That's so fucked.
It wasn't his adopted child. It was his ex-wife's adopted child.
Still.
But it's so funny when someone's like, and so, like, you know, this is the proof, and then this. Who did he go home to
that's like
after proving that he's not a child rapist in court? Yeah, he went home to another child that he married.
The case is closed. But that's like me turning around to you and Mum. I've got you and Mum together. I've brought you in the room.
We're behind you because you've had to turn around.
Oh, there you are. What are you guys doing here? I'm in love with David, my stepfather. So saying that, of course it's weird. Of course it's so inappropriate, and there is never a case where, oh no, it's not technically, oh it's adopted. No, it's still your kid, even if it's like a stepfather. Well, even if it's a stepfather that's come in when they are below the age. And I'm gonna find the right age here. I'm about to get.
Look, I don't want to get too graphic, but it's sort of like David's in court denying. Sorry to say this, sexually assaulting your sister Melissa. All right, he's denying that.
Yeah.
While he's married to you.
While he's married to me. Oh my God. There's no smoke without fire. There's no smoke without fire.
I would never do anything of the sort.
I have the utmost respect for my stepchildren. Anyway, come on, Andrew. Let's get out of here. It's been a long day.
I'm sick of these accusations.
We need a bubble bath. Fucking hell. It's exactly like that. Of course he did it. What a load of nonsense. If I was the prosecuting lawyer, I'd just say, can we take his wife to the stand? Yeah. She goes up and just like, what's your initial relation to Woody Allen? Oh, he was my adopted father. Thank you. Case closed. Are we done here? Are we done?
He is funny though.
Yeah.
He's good. He's a good comedian.
We've spoke about him briefly on the podcast's Patreon, I think, maybe.
Yeah. I think he's top 5 of all time.
Do you mean, did he do stand-up?
He basically invented self-deprecation or stand-up. He did it briefly in the 60s, and there's 2 incredible tapes. He did it in the late 60s, I think. So when stand-up was very, and the whole idea of
nerd alert.
Well, yeah. Well, he invented nerd alert. Yeah. So, but yes, Fran Lebowitz has a similar kind of, and it would have been amazing if he wasn't a rapist to see the 2 of them just going at it, because she's the only one who I could think would meet his
going
level.
At
sexually. But wait, on the topic of, so I went to see her at the Barbican, and it was good. So she had like 20 minutes, like half an hour when she spoke to a professional journalist, where she was just asking her questions, just social commentary. Yeah. We just want to hear her takes. Everyone there is just enamored by Fran Lebowitz.
Yeah.
And then the big thing, the reason why most people are there is the Q&A. That's what she does. That's how she makes her money. She tours doing Q&As.
Yeah.
So people will just put their hands up. What was mad, we came in, it's in the Barbican, in one of these, very nice theatre actually in the Barbican. And they got this big sign when you come in, like printed, projected.
They printed it out?
No, sorry, the opposite. The opposite.
On paper?
I was trying to say not printed.
They had it printed out on paper. They've got everything in the Barbican.
Projected a big sign that said, at the request of Fran Lebowitz, there will be no microphones in the audience, so project your voices loudly.
Why is she requesting that?
Okay, so then I was like, this is such a weird thing, because she seems like quite an odd lady anyway, so this is clearly one of her quirks. But what was mad is that she kept asking people to repeat herself because she couldn't hear anyone. It was the maddest thing I've ever seen. So for the whole Q&A, everyone was just, and the amount of time someone would like, I don't know, nervously stand up and try and ask the question, and then she'd be like, what? And then they'd have to shout.
What a horrible experience for a scared
especially
consumer.
if you try to do a question that maybe has a little bit of a joke in it, or like is a tiny.
The audience has heard it, and then you're like, oh, okay. Fuck.
And then what would happen if people at the back? It would be like,
would someone have to repeat the question for them?
And before you know it, you have someone at the front ask a question that they don't even believe in or ask.
Yeah,
it was.
I just guess like a spokesman at the front. And anyone else? Why would she?
But what I will say about her, and you know, it's
a hot take on the hot take.
It's not a hot take. A hot take. Well, it's not in the take economy.
Yeah,
which is becoming more and more of a thing.
Tepid.
She is the absolute master. I've never seen anyone like it, because she just like, she's been doing it so long. and her ability to just have a take on anything is better than I've seen anyone.
Yeah.
People like Tim Dillon are very good for sure.
Yeah.
But she was coming right off the back of Roe v. Wade, so she had a whole thing about that. Obviously, that's a big thing. But the amount of stuff that was thrown on her and how she could turn it into like a fully crafted take with everything you want from a funny, interesting, cutting take. And it was just, I've never seen it. It was incredible
really cool,
to see.
Actually,
but then, it was annoying having people shout quite bad questions. And I'd have preferred the professional interviewer to stay longer. But what was amazing is that I was late to go somewhere else. So I was kind of like looking at the time. I knew it was an hour and a half. And I'm like, okay, so she's a social commentator. These people go on a bit. They like the sound of their own voice. So I was assuming that she was going to keep going on for a bit.
Maybe
literally, as soon as it went an hour and a half, literally as soon as that, she turned around mid-answer. She didn't say goodbye.
Really?
It was the maddest thing I've ever seen.
No way.
Talk about getting older and not giving a fuck. So she's just talking. She didn't say goodbye.
Well, give us a rough.
So she was answering some shitty question that she'd got someone to repeat, and then she said,
"Pretend you're her. Just give any answer."
It would be something like, "No, that's not really," because she said a lot of things. Some things she
just make anything up.
And she said, "No, I don't think that's relevant." No, that's not the kind of question. It's like asking, what's your favourite film? Turns around and leave.
I just got up and left.
She was standing up. She just turned around.
That is astonishing.
Like, quickly.
That is astonishing.
She was clearly when is this thing fucking getting over? I'm being paid for... And so it was my sister's got those tickets for her birthday. And kindly took me. And then she found out, it was like, they were 45.
Kanye took you?
No, Kanye didn't. Kindly took me. That they were 45 quid the tickets.
45. Like,
that's a lot of money, and it's like she must be raking it in.
Build an hour and a half.
Yeah, but it's just I love that attitude where she's like clearly so sick. She's clearly only doing it because she needs cash.
Yeah, and once you've fulfilled the legal
she's just like literally, and I respect that because I'm, I can empathise with that. I'm gigging in Canterbury tonight. I won't be going overtime. I'll be doing this as soon as my time's out. I'm leaving.
Speaking of which,
we run out of time for our take of Boris Johnson because we spoke too much about self-service checkout. So if you want to find that out, you have to go on the Patreon. That's nearly everything we've planned for this show will be on the Patreon because normally when we start we like to freeball for a bit, and that was 45 minutes. So you got the 45 minutes of pure shite. But if you want to pay to see
the real things,
what
really matters, the real issues of the day,
the real issues that the people care about. We are the People's Podcast.
And we've got some pretty crazy opinions.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.